I awakened the trashiest F-rank skill in history, Refresh. It lets me target non-living objects within 1 meter and restore them to their factory new state. At first, it felt mid. 3 months into the zombie apocalypse, my girl snatched my last cookies and hopped into another guy's ride without looking back. She treated me like a stray dog, tossing an empty ramen cup at my feet before ghosting. Don't blame me, Gabe. Your skill is useless. If I stay with you, I'm cooked. I'd literally starve to death. In total despair, I stared at that empty cup when a crazy idea hit. Refresh! Suddenly, the smell of beef stew filled the air. Under the torn lid, brand new noodles and 3 flavor packets appeared. I was stunned. My skill isn't trash at all. We all just misunderstood the hype. Restoring doesn't mean back 1 second. It means factory new. An empty cup in its original state was a sealed, fresh meal. My heart was racing. Not from fear, but pure hype. I looked at this looted store. To others, these torn bags and empty bottles are trash. But for me, this is an infinite treasure hoard. I didn't rush to cook yet. In this wasteland, the smell of hot food is a death sentence that attracts unwanted attention. I barricaded the second-floor storage room with heavy shelves. Once it was safe, the real experiment began. I dropped the empty cup and whispered, "Refresh." The air rippled, and boom! A brand new cup of noodles spawned instantly. I did it again. And again, barely holding back a scream of pure joy. 10 minutes later, I had 60 cups stacked high. With a 10-second cooldown, I've officially found an infinite food glitch. Next, an empty water bottle. Refresh! Instantly, 500 milliliters of pure water appeared. Then, a hollow medical kit. Refresh! A full first aid set materialized in my hands. My breath hitched. Food, water, meds, the rarest resources in the apocalypse are now infinite for me. Liu Yu, you really called the main character useless? Just wait. One day, you'll be on your knees begging for my crumbs. I locked myself away for 3 days to start aura farming. Trash bags became my raw materials. Chips, crackers, chocolate. I refreshed it all into crates of loot. Drinks soon filled half the corner. The real jackpot? An empty gas tank. Using a portable stove, I finally prepared a hot meal. Windows sealed, water boiling, seasoning in. It was time to cook. When that familiar scent hit my nose, I couldn't stop the tears. I ate like a beast, sobbing through every bite. This was my first full meal since the world ended. But hiding isn't the final move. My brain finally cleared up. This store will have... I packed 2 massive hiking bags. Peeking, I gripped my... When a walker got close, I'd bait them with a refreshed Coke can, then finish them with a blade. My target? Blue Bay Residences. Elite security, elite walls. Those thick walls meant they'd hold out longer. More importantly, that's where my parents live. I was at school when it hit and lost contact. Finding them is my only mission, but the road to Blue Bay was pure hell. Abandoned cars blocked every road. I saw too many tragedies, vicious fights over scraps. I realized my ex's betrayal was just a minor villain arc in this cruel world. Humanity had collapsed. By day 3, I reached the Blue Bay gates. Iron walls, armed guards. It was a literal fortress. Expectedly, it's a survivor stronghold now. I watched from the shadows. To get in, I had to pass their vibe check. I hid most of my loot in a sewer, keeping only 1 bottle and some crackers. I played the starving refugee card and walked to the gate. "Halt! Who goes there?" A sharp voice shouted from the wall. I looked up, face covered in dirt. "I live here, Lin Fan, Building 17. Building 17. Stand by. Silence while they checked the radio. Then the gates creaked open. A guy with a steel pipe walked out, looking suspicious. ID. I handed over my papers. He scanned me from head to toe. "Just you? Where's your gear?" I looked down, voice shaking on purpose. "I got robbed. This is all I have left." He frowned at my weak build and finally lowered his guard. "Get in. But listen, newbies hand over half their supplies for distribution." My heart sank. Good thing I hid the real stash. I nodded like a beta, handing over my last water and half crackers. He took them with total contempt and waved me through. Inside, the vibe was different. Tense, but orderly. Guards patrolling, walls being reinforced, a literal island in the apocalypse. Women and kids were huddled at the community center. Then I heard the name. Brother Bao. He's the Sigma running the show now. He was a manager here before. Once he awakened Earth powers, he built a private army to protect everyone. Everyone gets rations based on contribution points. To eat, you gotta fight or work. I played the sick card to stay solo. Priority 1, my parents. Heart pounding, I ran to my house. The security door was smashed open. Inside, absolute ruins. My heart froze. I screamed for them, but only dead silence replied. Dust on the table meant they'd been gone for days. There were signs of a struggle, but zero blood. Maybe there's still hope. I collapsed, feeling more lost than ever. Where do I even start? Then, sinister footsteps approached from the hall. Well, well, looks like we missed a stray. 2 guys blocked the door. The leader was bald and looking at me with pure malice. I knew him. Scorpion, a low-tier goon for Brother Bao. He licked his lips, looking at me like I was fresh meat on a block. The old owners owed Bao points. They got evicted. This place is ours now. I narrowed my eyes. What did you do to them? Threw them out. That's what happens to useless bums. But you look useful. Run some errands for us and we might let you live in the shed. I was a clown to think this place was safe. But with infinite supplies, who's really the one in danger? Can Gabe's F-rank skill outscale an Earth user? Drop your theories below. It's the law of the jungle. Slash. My hand grips a fruit knife. Slash sharpened to a lethal, glowing edge. Just as I prepare to fight, a cold voice stops everything. Cease! Scorpion and his thugs freeze instantly. Their smirks turn to pure fear. Shunling stands there with a blood-stained blade, radiating peak boss aura. Shenling, slash, captain of blade, slash, the strongest guard with, slash, a rare metal type awakening. She's an absolute weapon. Ignoring the trash, she looks me dead in the eye and asks what's happening. They're harassing me, I state. Scorpion starts yapping excuses about debt and assets, looking totally cooked. Does debt collection require 2 men? Her voice is quiet, but carries absolute authority. Get out. Now. Scorpion flees like a panicked NPC. Slash. My body finally relaxes. Slash. Nearly collapsing as Shenling, slash, watches me closely. Stay away from them, she warns. She turns to leave, but I shout, where are my parents? I give her their names. Shunling pauses, searching her memory for a moment. They were sent to the slash abandoned Northgate factory. Slash, it's a death sentence. Slash. My heart sinks, waiting to die in the cold. I lock the door. I need my parents, but first I need power. I crush a chocolate bar for energy. Slash. I find Scorpion's rusty pipe. Slash. Time to test my ability. I touch the rust. A brand new polished steel pipe appears in my hand, but I need more. I find my dad's old gear. Slash. Shovel, axe, dagger. Slash. All refreshed to razor sharp. Slash. Legendary status. Under the cover of night. Slash. I sneak toward the gate. Slash. Avoiding guards. Slash. Moving like a ghost. I find the camera blind spot. Using my new rope, I scale the 3-meter wall with 0 effort. The factory looms like a beast. Slash. The air smells of rot. Slash. Zombie groans echo slash through the dark wasteland. More zombies appear as I get closer. Slash. I duck behind a ruined wall. Slash. Heart racing. A dozen zombies are slash clawing at the gate. Slash. My parents are inside. Slash. I need a plan. I spot high windows. Slash. 4 meters up. Slash. That's my way in. Slash. No time to waste. I chuck a rock slash at a distant car. The glass shatters, creating the perfect distraction. The horde takes the bait. Slash. I sprint to the wall. Slash. And ready my climbing gear. I vung the axe. Slash hook the window. Slash and pull myself inside. Slash the silent steel tomb. It's a massive graveyard of machinery. Moonlight flickers through the slash-broken roof like a spotlight. I hear sobbing in the shadows. Dozens of weak survivors are huddled together in the dark. I see them. Slash. My parents. Holding each other. Slash. Relief washes over me. Slash. In a flood of tears. I call out. They look up. Disbelief turning into pure joy. My son is here. We embrace. The apocalypse fading. Slash. For just 1 second. But then, a harsh voice interrupts. A scarred thug steps out. He's eyeing my bag, hungry for whatever loot I'm carrying. Open the bag, kid, he sneers. I stand in front of my parents, with ice in my veins. It's mine, I say. Scar laughs, swinging a machete. Everything here belongs to me now. His goons surround us like predators. The other survivors watch, silent and terrified for my life. Dad tries to bargain, slash offering the bag for my safety, slash too late, Scar mocks, slash I want blood. He lunges. I don't flinch. I move faster, slamming my pipe into his wrist. Crack! Slash! His wrist snaps like a twig. Slash. The room goes silent. Slash. I'm totally out-trin. Scar screams in agony. Kill him! I want him dead! The goons charge all at once. I toss the bag to Dad Slash and raise my pipe. Slash. One swift move. Slash. A goon is down. No wasted movement. Slash. I hit every weak point slash with god-tier precision. Slash. My stamina is infinite. The rest of them freeze. Scar stares at me, his face pale. Who? What are you? Leave or die. Slash. My rage from the last few months, slash, finally explodes. Slash. Into pure killing intent. He realizes he's cooked. The vibe in the room shifts. I'm the predator now. Suddenly, boom! The factory gates groan under a massive impact. The zombies are breaking in. Chaos erupts. The thugs try to barricade the gate with their own bodies, but it's failing. The gate is buckling. Despair hits the crowd. Is this how it ends? Who wins the 1 versus 100? My parents were shaking, but I had a plan. I gripped the rusted pipe and stepped toward the gate. Watch me cook. "You're dead meat," the thug screamed. I ignored his noise and pressed my palm against the cold, corroded metal. Then the miracle happened. The dented gate began to reverse in time, smoothing out and turning brand new right before their eyes. In seconds, a massive steel barrier stood tall. The zombies slammed against it, but it didn't budge. The entire room went silent. Everyone was lost for words. Scarface dropped his jaw, totally forgetting his broken wrist. "Are you a high-tier fixer?" he stammered. I gave him a cold stare. In this world, power is the only currency. My aura was so suffocating, it completely broke his will. His greed turned into pure terror. "Big brother, I didn't know who I was testing. Please, don't hold this against me." He was cooked. I didn't say a word. I walked back to my parents. My mom looked at me with pride and fear, barely recognizing her own son. I squeezed her hand to reassure her. "I've got you, Mom." Then I pulled out a full meal and fresh water from my bag. "Eat up. You need your strength." The smell of real food made the starving survivors drool. They watched my parents eat like hungry wolves. Their eyes were filled with desperate longing. Even Scarface and his goons couldn't look away from the feast. "Food is worth more than gold now," / "My flex shocked them," / "More than the gate did," / "Listen up," I announced, / "I run this place now." Scarface flinched, then bowed his head. Taking over the factory was easier than I thought. His little empire crumbled instantly. With infinite supplies and power, / "I was the new king," / "I kept the thugs for labor," / "while I handled the logistics," / "everyone had a job." I'd lock myself away to check inventory, but I was actually crafting supplies. Box after box of fresh goods kept appearing miraculously. They looked at me like I was a god. Everyone assumed I had a secret, infinite storage ability. My aura was farming respect every single day. The factory became a fortress. My parents helped me manage the survivors, finally regaining their dignity. Everything seemed perfect, but I wasn't finished. One name kept haunting me. /Blue Bay. / "That's where the manager Bao, / threw my defenseless parents, / out into the cold. Blue Bay has better walls and luxury. It's time my family lived in a real home. Bao is officially on my hit list." A week later, we were ready. I used my restoration skill to fix up a fleet of old scooters until they were brand new. I crafted tactical gear, steel-toed boots, and reinforced helmets for my squad. We weren't just survivors. We were an elite army. As for Scarface and his crew, they're my most loyal dogs now. Food and warmth will buy you a lot of loyalty. I picked the 20 strongest fighters. "We aren't going back to beg," I told them. "We're going back to take what's ours. Blue Bay will be our new home. Who's with me?" No one hesitated. They followed me with blind faith. A fleet of 20 bikes roared toward Blue Bay. When we hit the north gate, the guards froze. They had never seen gear this clean. "Scarface, weren't you kicked out?" My loyal thug stood tall. "We're here to talk business with Boss Bao." The guard laughed. "Business? With you? I stepped out of the lead vehicle and locked eyes with him. Tell Bao that Lin Fan is home. He didn't know me, but he felt my main character energy. He radioed it in immediately. Moments later, the heavy gates creaked open. Bao walked out with a massive crowd. Beside him was Shen Ling, the elite guard captain. Bao looked at our gear with pure greed. Well, Lin Fan, where did you hit the jackpot? I didn't waste time. I'm moving my people back into Blue Bay. Bao burst out laughing. You're dreaming, kid. Why would I let you in? I simply snapped my fingers. Scarface slammed a crate onto the ground. Inside was a mountain of high-calorie survival rations. The laughter stopped instantly. Every guard's jaw hit the floor. Food is scarce here. They've been surviving on scraps. And I just showed them a feast. Where did you get this? Bao hissed. Doesn't matter, I replied. Do we have a deal or do we have a problem? Bao's eyes flickered with malice. What's the proposal? My people move in, I provide food, and we run this place together. Bao's face darkened. You're tripping, kid. I'm the leader here. I don't share power with nobodies. Equality is my only condition, I said. If you say no, we take it by force. With 20 men, Bao sneered. Shen Ling, show him. On his command, the elite squad stepped forward. A wave of killing intent filled the air. This was Blue Bay's trump card. My men started to sweat. I didn't flinch. I looked at Shen Ling, the woman who once helped me. She was looking at me with pure shock. Captain Shen, do you really think / you can stop me? She stayed silent for a moment. Lin Fan, you're strong, but we have 200 guards. A head-on fight won't end well for you, she warned. Bao smirked, thinking he had won. Give us the food, and we might let you stay. But your men? They can go back to the dirt. That was his final answer. He wanted to rob me and dump my crew. I just smiled. I guess there's nothing left to say. I slowly raised my hand and pointed at the tallest skyscraper. Last chance, I said calmly. Let us in, or I'll make that entire building vanish. The crowd erupted in laughter. Bao laughed so hard he cried. Did you hear that? The funniest joke of the year. But Shen Ling didn't laugh. She knew I wasn't capping. If he deletes that building, the base is toast. Is our MC truly about to erase a whole skyscraper just to prove a point? She saw it in my eyes. No cap. I wasn't joking. I started the countdown. Bao's smug face literally glitched. Laughter died instantly. They felt the shift. That 30-story tower, the pride of Blue Bay, it was about to get cooked. Bao lost it. All bark, no bite, end him, he roared. But the timer hit 0. He was already out-trend. I didn't target the guards. I overclocked my system to the max, aimed at the skyscraper, thought refresh page. Total silence. The tower flickered like a broken stream, glitching through reality. The massive structure began to fade away. 1 second. That's all it took for it to vanish. Only empty dirt remained. Everyone stood there, souls completely drained. Bao's goons folded instantly. They tossed their gear and dipped, screaming like the server was shutting down forever. Bao hit the floor, pale as a ghost. His 200 elite guards disbanded in a heartbeat. Pure coward energy. Shen Ling stood her ground, but her hands were shaking. She looked at me and I knew. Her respect just hit max level. She wasn't looking at a survivor anymore. She was looking at a god. I walked toward Bao. He was trembling like a leaf. "We coming in now?" Bao nodded frantically, clearing the path. I told my squad, "Move in. We own this city now." My team finally snapped out of it. The way they looked at me, absolute reverence. They were riding with a legend. Erasing a skyscraper? That's hacks. They realized, as long as I'm the leader, the apocalypse is just a walk in the park. We rolled into Blue Bay like kings. No one dared to blink. Shen Ling's squad followed behind like an elite honor guard. Blue Bay had a new CEO. First order of business? Debt collection. Bao and his toxic inner circle were immediately locked up. No kills, just a reset. My ability evolved. I can now refresh living beings. I can revert a body back to peak health. I refreshed Bao's energy core. Reset him to level 0. Now he's just a helpless, powerless civilian. Totally cooked. I recruited the Blade Squad. They're actual warriors with a heart. A rare find in this wasteland. Time to build. I restored a broken doll and some expired meds right before Shen Ling's eyes. She finally realized my true aura. This isn't storage or repair. It's reality manipulation. A power that rewrites the fundamental laws of the world itself. She bowed. The Blade Squad is officially under my command. With them, I've got Blue Bay in a chokehold. New rules. Work for food. With infinite supplies, I bought their loyalty. Any trolls or griefers? Gone. Simple as that. Blue Bay transformed. It was thriving. My parents looked at me with pure pride. They didn't ask questions. They just trusted. With the base running smooth, I had to test my limits. How far can this power actually go? Can I refresh a zombie? I found an infected guard turning into a monster. Everyone thought he was a lost cause. I cleared the room and placed my hand on his head. A soft, white light engulfed him completely. The screaming stopped. Mutations reversed. I restored him to his pre-infection state. I literally found the cure to the apocalypse. Zombie virus? Not a death sentence anymore. This discovery was way more hype than erasing a building. I could end the apocalypse. But first, it's time for some personal revenge. The ops have been waiting long enough. I asked Shen Ling about Chen Yan and my toxic ex, Liu Ruiyan. It was time for a little visit. They're at a supermarket fortress. Chen Yan is a D-rank fire user acting like a big shot. My eyes went cold. We're visiting the neighbors tomorrow. I took the Blade Squad in my upgraded armored truck straight to their front door. The supermarket was a fortress. Armed guards everywhere. They started panicking the moment we pulled up. "State your name!" Shen Ling yelled. "Ling Fan from Blue Bay, here for Chen Yan." The guards were clueless, but they knew our base. The gates opened. Chen Yan walked out with my ex clinging to his arm. She looked way too comfortable. She saw me and smirked. "Lin Fan? Come to beg for help? Guess you couldn't survive on your own, loser." She still thought I was a scrub. Chen Yan checked out my squad, but he wasn't impressed. Total lack of vision. "Blue Bay? Never heard of it," he scoffed. "Leave your truck and loot, then get out. We don't take bums." He thought his firepower made him invincible. My ex just laughed along, thinking she'd won at life. Delusional. "You're not even worthy of cleaning his shoes, Lin Fan," she barked. I just stared at her and started laughing. "Remember that empty noodle cup you threw at me?" I asked. Her face went blank. My gaze turned ice cold. "Today, I'm making you eat it." She laughed like it was a joke. "You think you have the right?" Chen Yan stepped up. "You're talking real big for someone about to die. Time for a lesson in respect." A massive fireball formed in his hand. My squad braced for impact, but I didn't even flinch. High aura only. I shook my head. That's it? I raised my hand. His massive fireball flickered and died instantly. Absolutely cooked. With one tap, his fire vanished. Chunyan's ego? Instantly cooked. He's staring at his empty hands like a total fraud. Where's my spark? He tries to summon it, but zero flames. His D-rank carry? Permanently banned. He's officially powerless. You're a monster! He screams. I ignore the fodder. I look at his girl, shaking. Who's the boss now? Her face is pale as a ghost. She just watched a D-rank power get deleted like it was nothing. Fear has her glitched. She's tossed at my feet like a bag of trash, begging for a redo through tears. Zero pity. I pull out that crushed beef noodle cup she threw at me earlier. Time for some karma. I refresh it. Brand new noodles. I dump the contents, leaving only the paper bowl. The ultimate devious move. I drop the bowl in her face. She knows I'm not trolling. The vibes? Absolutely terrifying for her. She eats the paper bowl while sobbing. Chunyan finally realizes he's messed with a true Sigma. He's cooked. He collapses and kneels too. I watch her swallow every scrap of paper. No mercy. Just results. Capturing the base was a speed run. Once I stripped their powers, they folded instantly. Zero resistance, all aura. Blue Bay is now the server leader. I'm out-trend everyone, focusing on base builds and legendary power research. I can cure the virus. To keep the meta safe, I built a secret lab run by my parents. Everyone I save is 100% loyal. My aura is spreading faster than the virus ever did. The legend grows. Supplies for friends. Smoke for enemies. The name Lin Fan is officially a legendary myth across the wasteland. Some call me a saint. Others call me a demon. Either way, I'm the undisputed king of this world. Year 5. Hope City is a 100,000 player megabase. Total peace, max defense, and self-sufficient farming. Peak civilization. Smiles everywhere. I stay in my penthouse tower, watching the empire I built from zero. True king energy. My power evolved. Aura farming 2.0. I turn wasteland into green fields without even touching the ground. I purify oceans with a thought. I'm basically a god now. Shenling? She's my top G commander. Sir, a horde's coming! An S-rank zombie king with high-level intellect is leading the final march. S-ranks are world enders. I look out into the distance, completely unfazed by the threat. Time to lock in. A sea of billions. In the middle, a king sits on a bone throne. He's locked onto my energy. His red eyes pierce through 100 miles. He sends a pressure wave, but I just flick my wrist. Negated. Ready? She asks. Hope City is with me. I just smile. Nah, we aren't losing today. It's over. The apocalypse ends now. I walk out solo, facing a horde that could swallow the entire world. 100,000 people are watching the live stream. They're terrified, but they know I'm the main character. The roar is deafening. The king commands the final charge. I raise my hands. Everyone expects a nuke, but I'm cooking something else. Zero killing intent, just pure mercy. My power isn't for destruction. It's the ultimate global reset button. I dump all my MP. I'm targeting the entire planet. An infinite white light explodes, blinding the world. The white hits the horde. Rotting skin, healed. Bloodlust, vanished. They're finally getting their souls back. Confusion turns into humanity. Green grass starts spawning in the cracked earth. Nature is healing in seconds. The mist clears. Blue skies are back. The S-Rank King watches his monster form dissolve into human skin. Total system refresh. Every zombie on Earth just became human again. The nightmare is officially deleted. The wasteland is gone. It feels like the last 5 years were just a bad dream. Pure silence. Everyone's jaw dropped. Then the whole city starts screaming in joy. Pure hype. The world is back. They're chanting my name. I see Shun Ling, then my parents. The vibes are absolutely immaculate. Hope is back. If I can refresh a cup of noodles, I can refresh the world. GG. Can anyone in the Webtoonverse actually tank this global refresh? Drop your power scaling pics.